Hello adventures, it's Man Zero here, your favorite hero. Guys, I'm here with another Sword of Convallaria video, and this one we're going to be going over the characters that we're expecting in the first 2 weeks of the game. Let's check it out. So first things first, guys, I want to show you exactly what the banner system looks like. Here you see that we have a guaranteed summon, a debut summon, a destined summon, a standard summon, and a standard summon for weapons. So we do have summons for characters and for weapons, so keep that in mind. First off, the guaranteed summon is just basically an introduction summoning session where there's a discounted rate for the amount of pulls that you need to do in order to guarantee yourself a legendary character. So it is 30 instead of 60, so super beneficial. Make sure you're doing this one off the bat. Next, we got the debut banner. I believe this one can be a single unit or a dual unit. In this specific picture, we do have Gloria, which is a fantastic unit, by the way. We'll go over her in the future. But when it comes to the releases in Taiwan, we do have a confirmation that they got Samantha and Leonide. So we're going to be going over those two characters and as well as Cole and Beryl here. So Beryl and Cole are in the Destined banner, so it looks like it's consistent between the Taiwan and the global release. So we'll go over those four characters. So we're going to be going over Samantha, we're going to be going over Leonide, and Cole and Beryl. So if that's something that you're going to be interested in, please do like, sub, and subscribe, and let's hop into the first character. So first off, we have Samantha, and I'm not going to bore you guys with too much reading. You can see on my screen, there's quite a bit to all their moves and skills. Let's just go and kind of keep it simple. So Samantha is a healer unit. She's able to do AoE heals. She's able to increase the damage of your units. She's able to increase the physical defense of your units. Also, she's able to basically prevent death. So if a character is really low in HP, using the support ability at the end of a turn, she is going to be able to replenish that person's HP just by a little bit. It always goes to the lowest common denominator. So keep that in mind, as well as she is able to heal somebody who gets into injured status. So basically keeping your units on the field for as long as possible. That's what Samantha is good for. As well as she's got some decent amount of attacks with Divine Wrath and Delight of Celestial Purge, which are fantastic because Divine Wrath does avoid active skills, and Light of a Celestial Purge removes any kind of buffs that an enemy might have on them, as well as removes any debuffs that are on your characters around her. All her heals, all her effects seem to be AoE, except of course Divine Wrath, which does look like it affects a linear path. And that's it pretty much for Samantha. She's pretty solid. We'll go over where she lands in the tier list later on in this video. Next up, we got Leonide. Leonide seems like a pretty solid attack damage dealer. Not really high on the tier list. To be honest, he's actually probably one of the lowest tiered units in these two banners. So he may be really good in terms of attack, but he doesn't really age well. So basically, what Leonide can do is he provides you main attack. He can do a dash forward attack using his spear. He can do knockback attacks, where he can dispel some debuffs, as well as he can avoid block and dodge, as well as he is able to do a little bit of self-healing, but he sacrifices that healing when he does his main attacks, because he does do kind of like a sacrificial lamb action, which he reduces his own HP in order to do more damage out. So keep that in mind. You definitely need to keep Leonide at a high amount of HP, so he needs to be combined with a healer, because he will be able to do pushback when his HP is higher than the enemy that he attacks. As well as he has a reaction ability, which, as you can imagine, with somebody who looks like a defensive unit, he replaces the person that's being attacked in his general area, and then is able to do a retaliatory attack before the attack is dealt to him. So he might be able to take out a unit before that damage is dealt. So super useful. So he has a pretty solid reaction, but all in all, his damage, it doesn't age out. And it'll be good for you in the beginning of the game, but in the long term, there are much, much better characters. That's it for Leonide. Let's hop on to Cole. Alright, so here we have Cole, and Cole is very cool. She is basically a ninja, guys, and her abilities kind of match that. When it comes to her killer instinct, basically she likes to be a loner, and when she is alone, further away from the team, she has an increased TP attack and crit rate. When she takes an enemy unit out, she's actually able to act again. So that means she can move, take someone out, move, take another person out with his skill. And you have some amazing skills to utilize. Like Obliterate, as an example, this physical damage is a multi-hit attack. And prior to attacking, if there are no enemies nearby, she's actually able to bypass the assist skills that may be on that enemy. After vanquishing the target, she gains the ability to dodge a single attack next turn. So keep that in mind. You can actually go pretty much right around everybody and take them out one by one, and they don't even notice her. And in fact, we actually have something very cool in the abilities called Mask. Mask dispels some of the debuffs that have been placed on her, replaces a little bit of HP, gains crit boost. So that means she does even more crit damage. So that combined together with the crit rate, fantastic combination. And it gives her the invisibility status, meaning that people who are like range attackers, archers, and magic users will not focus target on her. So you can actually go around and flank from the back relatively easy, especially because she has the ability to jump, which means that she can get really far on the map very quickly. Next, she has the Omen of Death, and Omen of Death is very interesting because it basically means that when another character dies on the field, she gets really pissed off, and her crit rate increases as well as she gains Feverish Beast, and that means that she does a ton of damage whenever she goes around and knocks the enemy units out. And finally, we have Beryl. Beryl looks like a pretty simple based unit, but she packs a wallop, guys. She is an S plus ranked unit. Very few of them out in the game. This is the only one that is a dark magic user specifically, and you can kind of see how her damage stacks, right? So she has I'm a Genius as her trait, which increases her magic attack at the beginning of her turn, as well as it grants her one buff and restores one energy right off the bat. So she's able to get in and do some crazy damage right off the get-go, and increases her energy, meaning that she is able to use her stronger, more powerful skills much quicker. So we got Wall of Flame, which is going to be our basic attack. Basically, it off of the cross-shaped, so three spots in front, three spots behind, and to the sides. Once you actually find a target and you select that target in those paths, she actually does an AoE damage around that unit. So that way, anybody around that unit also receives damage. And she's able to set those tiles ablaze. So it adds the burning status to those tiles. She is great at being able to create almost like a fire barrier that enemies have to go through in order to get to your units and do damage. Amazing unit. Next we have Boom. Very cool name for an ability. Very simple, but it gets to the point, guys. She cannot move before utilizing this ability, so this is an ability that she'll use when she's just stationary, and basically randomly attacks enemies that are two tiles around her, and it hits about 5 times. Each of those attacks is an AoE attack, and it deals fire and AoE damage to anybody in that damage circle. And anybody who is affected by the damage receives the Scorch status effect, which I believe is kind of like burning, but sticks with them even when they're not on a fire tile. Super powerful. Now we have also Just Searching, which is her support instant ability, which basically means that Beryl gains one Luxite skill. I'm not specifically sure what Luxite skill is. I didn't either get that far, and I didn't get Beryl in my beta test, so I'm not sure how that is actually affected, but it sounds quite powerful. And this ability lasts for 2 turns. Finally, we have Try This, which actually rounds out Beryl quite nicely, which basically means that she's able to do a heal within 3 tiles around her, meaning another AoE heal. And that's a massive heal circle. 3 tiles in each direction, and it restores HP and energy. So this unit ages very well because energy is super important, and so is HP. With higher energy, meaning you can do more damage out, or you can use more skills, and that means that you can clear the map that much faster. Now that we've gone over each individual character, let's go over exactly to see where they land in the tier list. All right, so got the tier list all loaded up here. So T0 is basically our S plus, and it goes down to T3, which is approximately our C status characters. So first off, I want to go order by order based on what we talked about. So Samantha sits in T2, so she doesn't age out very well. There are other healers that you can get. Actually, there are some non-legendary healers that have really similar abilities to Samantha, and those ones might be easier to build over time just because, of course, shards are a thing, and a legendary character you may not need to build them if you have cheaper units that you can build really powerfully. So Samantha sits at B, and that makes sense considering the powerful healers that we have in like the gold status. Next we have Leonide, and you can see Leonide is dropped right there in C. Good damage dealer at the beginning of the game, but not overall long term. So that banner, honestly, doesn't look like one that you want to focus on. Let's just be honest here. You want to spend your currency on that guaranteed banner, and hopefully you get somebody good. If you are going to be do re-rolling, that's the banner that you're going to be doing re-rolling on, and then you want to focus on the Cole and Beryl banner, because Cole is an S character and Beryl is an S plus character. Phenomenal characters that will age very well on your team. You may not be able to get a healer right off the bat, but that's okay. You can always get a really good healer, and this is what I did. I got a really good gold healer with multiple copies from pulling on the banners, and that person had AoE heal. It had that regen if somebody was really low in HP. So Samantha for me was negligible. I know there's other really good healers. And that's it for this video, guys. Hopefully you really liked it. Please do like, sub, and subscribe. Would really appreciate it. And if you're looking forward to Sword of Convallaria, I'm there with you. Let's hop into the game. It comes out at the end of the month. I am pumped to show more gameplay. Take care, adventurers. Be well.